Welcome to Azeroth United, a weekly podcast about World of Warcraft. My name is Denethar, and I am your host.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. It's Sunday night here in Azeroth, and we have a great show lined up for you. I'm going to be talking to my very good friend, Ashlynne, about player housing this week. Ashlynne, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a long time since you've been on the show, almost 2 years now. So thanks for jumping in and helping out with this episode.
Of course.
So we're going to be doing player housing kind of touch point after the release of the full version of player housing and how Blizzard has implemented it going into the pre-patch for midnight. Plus, we've got some WoW news and some other things. We'll be going over all that. So pull up a chair, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Before we get to the news, we'll do a quick rundown of what we each got up to in WoW this week. So, Ashlynne, since you're the guest on the show, why don't you tell me what you got up to this week in World of Warcraft?
Well, this week I've been working on trying to get my house to level 6. I realized I made a couple mistakes early on, which was trying to get as many of the decor items as possible before they allowed us to go past level, level 5? No, level 4. So I could have been a lot further along, but here we are, and I'm almost there. I have just a few more crafted items, and I'll be there.
Not bad. So player housing, that's kind of your focus right now?
Yeah, pretty much. I've been doing some old content, which I guess goes along with player housing, reputation, and just doing some trade skills and just getting ready for the next expansion.
What is your normal pre-patch routine? Do you have like something that you typically do when you get into the pre-patch period, or?
Well, yes, but this has really changed things because normally I empty all my banks and I sell everything, which I did a little bit of and then regretted because now I'm having to farm a lot of mats that I already had. So at this point, I think it's just kind of making sure that I have those last minute, achievements that I want, and the mounts that I want. Maybe running through and making sure that I've done the current content. But I don't know. This has really thrown things off for me.
Okay. All right. Have you played around with the new specs at all with all the changes that they've thrown in?
Well, since I'm doing mostly old content, I pretty much went to Wowhead and said, hey, give me a Guardian Druid spec, an Arcane Mage spec, a Prot Paladin spec, and threw it at my characters. I do have a couple things that I don't love, and I'll probably play with down the road. But for now, I'm okay. There's a couple things with the Druid that I'm not loving, but I'm sure that'll come down to spec and just really looking into it.
Okay. Cool. Very cool. For me, I have been playing a lot of Classic going into this week, and the TBC pre-patch was last week, and so I was super jazzed about that. As soon as this patch hit, I have not touched my TBC characters at all. So it's been pretty much all midnight. I'm trying to get everyone set up. I had the horror that everyone else did when I logged in for the first time after the midnight pre-patch hit, which was all of my transmogs are gone. So all of my characters look like a Burning Crusade clown show. I was like, well, I don't need to play Burning Crusade Classic. I've got Burning Crusade gear right here. But I went through, I got to set up everybody's transmog, spent a bunch of gold because it was expensive at first. It was like 1,500 to do one transmog, and now they've reduced it, which we'll get to that in a little bit. But so I had to get everyone's transmog set up, and then mostly this last week I spent trying to actually play some of my characters, like my DK, who I'm probably going to main in midnight. I got to learn how to play with the new talents and the new builds. My warrior too. I always have to play a warrior, so that's pretty much what I've been to. But yeah, it's all just preparation and getting ready for midnight for me, because that's, to me, it's just kind of positioning everything and getting everything ready. We don't have the pre-patch event this week. That'll come next week. So there's really nothing to do in game unless you feel like running dungeons or delves or raids, which I guess people were saying right now that Dimensius was super easy this week. So I guess if you want to do Mana Forge Omega, this is the week to do it. So that's pretty much it for me. So most of my time this past week, and yours as well, no doubt, was spent getting ready for the snowpocalypse.
Yes, that's very true.
Yeah, so I live in Ohio, and it is cold and snowing. It's been snowing since last night, and we have probably close to a foot of snow, which for some places that's not a lot, but for here, the town has come to a complete halt. So it's been fun.
I would say I've got some snow drifts that are well over a foot. The roads not plowed yet, at least not in my neighborhood. I don't know how I would get out if I had to, and hopefully things will be cleared up by the time I have to go back to work. But for now, just going to stay inside.
Yeah, it's very true. Now you were supposed to go out of town this weekend, weren't you?
That's right. I was actually supposed to fly to California, and it was going to be a Saturday morning to Sunday evening trip. And our pilots originally said, "Hey, let's just go. We'll just shack up somewhere. We'll divert whatever we have to do." And at the last minute, they changed their mind. So, would have been a nice little work vacation. But
So this is a work flight. What do you do for work?
I'm a nurse. I do pediatric critical care transport. So it was a work flight, and would have been nice, but here I am.
Okay. Hey, this is much better, right?
Oh, I'm not. Well, sure. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. See. Yeah. Thank you. Picked up on the cue. All right. That's enough of that. Let's well, before we get to the news, there's one other thing that I wanted to talk about. So actually there's two things. So first off, we had 2 new comments on our Spotify page, which, and I always say, if you leave a comment on the Spotify, or if you leave a review on Apple Podcasts, I'll read them on the air. So we've got 2 reviews for the last episode, which was 121. So first one comes from good old Johnny Tips. Hey Johnny, I hope you're doing okay in Texas, but it says, immediately going to listen to solo queue interview with you after this. Way too emotionally invested in this. Thank you. Yeah, yes, that was a great interview with Dave Gagne from the solo queue that I did last week. And Dave's a great guy. If you have not checked out solo queue yet, make sure you do so. It's definitely worth your time. The other one is from Rack, who just recently joined our Discord. You can get to our Discord by going to AzerothUnitedPod.com. Rack said, great episode. Bummer about missing out on that Scythe by 1 mark. Yeah, that was rough. I hope you get another chance to snag it at some point. I was so pissed. 1 mark from getting the Scythe. That was unfortunate from Legion Remix. So anyway, thank you guys both so much for your comments. I really do appreciate it. And if you want to leave your comments on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, like I said, I'll read them on the air. Giving a review also really helps. So 5 stars is the best, but if you vote with your heart, so if you feel like it's 4 or 3, then you know what, I'm not going to question it. I prefer not a 1 star, but you know what, like I said, vote with your heart. So all right. And then next up, we have a forum post of the week, which I still don't have theme music for. But this forum post of the week, so this started off with a tweet from Lucky One, who's the developer of LVUI. And it kind of spiraled from there with several developers going back and forth, and it turned into a big mess. So to set the stage really quick, what happened was one of the big WoW content creators, who is Quasi, he does a lot of custom builds for things like Plater and Weak Auras and things like that. He did a lot of things for the WoW community. He had been working on a replacement for LVUI, since LVUI was originally not going to do anything in Midnight because of the add-on Apocalypse. So he started building his own UI, and then he put his UI available for early access behind his Patreon. So if you subscribe to his Patreon, you had access to his add-on, which is a big no-no. You're not allowed to do that. And then it turns out that, according to Lucky One, that he actually stole some of the code from Weak Auras. I'm sorry, from LVUI. So it just turned into a big mess. Quasi has now since deleted his YouTube channel. His Discord server is still up, but it's locked down, and he's claiming he's going to quit WoW for good, and he's never coming back. So it got ugly there. I don't know. Are you familiar with Quasi, Ash?
No, I'm not. Not at all.
Yeah. his really big claim to fame was the plater profiles that he did for Mythic Plus, that highlighted certain mobs to, this is the kick.
Oh, okay. Well, I've used those. I love plater. Miss it.
So what's that?
I miss it.
Yeah, I mean it's good. The Blizzard replacement is not as good, but we'll get there. So Quasi has stopped doing his UI. Nef UI just pulled out because for the same reason. They were going to replace Elv UI. Now that Elv UI is trying to come back, they are dropping their add-on. And Weak Auras, of course, famously is not going to be returning for WoW Midnight. So, we still have a lot of problems, but I think the biggest issue here is that there's a lot of question about some of these add-on devs making money from their add-ons, and Blizzard's terms of service very clearly state that all add-ons must be free and the code is open and available to everyone. So you can't hide anything behind compiled code. You can't sell your add-ons. A lot of content creators have gotten around this by saying, we're not selling an add-on. We're going to sell you a configuration pack for Weak Auras or for LVUI or for Plater. And so while they're technically not selling an add-on, they are selling a add-on related service. But what Quasi did was he decided he was going to put his add-on behind Patreon, which was a big no-no. So it turned into a big mess, and a lot of people are arguing on Twitter and Reddit right now. But it's really interesting to me to see how much the add-on community has evolved since the early days of WoW. In early WoW, it was just one dude writing an add-on, and it was terrible, but that's all we had. And now there's all these people who are trying to make a career off of this. And so it's definitely a very different time. And I think that I think for the best that we're kind of reducing the number of add-ons.
I think to some extent, yes. I'm having a lot of problems with the current interface. I think that maybe the original Happy Patch Day came from a lot of those original add-ons, and that's some of my hesitation in having too many, but it's been really nice recently. There's a patch that comes out, everything's already caught up, you just download everything from CurseForge, and you're good to go. But right now, I don't know if it's my add-ons or if it's Blizzard's UI that's messing up, but I've had a lot of frustrations.
There's a few components of Blizzard's UI that are bugging out. One of the solutions is to delete your WTF folder, which you know how much fun that is. But yeah, there's a lot of complaining and a lot of not responding from Blizzard. So, and it's tough because as a game dev, they don't really put a whole lot of focus on their UI. It's pretty bare bones for a reason. I think they're hoping that add-on developers are going to come in and clean some of this up. But if their UI doesn't work at all, if it's erroring out, that's a big problem.
So I'd like to know what gear I'm wearing. That'd be nice if I could scroll over it and see my gear.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, it's definitely a big problem, and I think that Blizzard needs to address it. But they haven't even acknowledged it on Twitter or really anywhere. So I think probably just coming from a code development standpoint, I would say that they probably don't know what's causing it. So they're investigating, and they don't want to say anything until they've at least have an idea of what the fix is going to be. So, all right. So yeah, that's I always love I love internet drama, especially when it's on Twitter or Reddit. And in this case, you have all these add-on developers with their big egos going after each other. So that's a lot of fun. But look, I'm all about, you want to make money creating content for World of Warcraft, go for it. But you need to do it in the right way. You can't make money in the wrong way, in a weird way, and you can't steal other people's code. So,
and maybe don't throw a temper tantrum.
Right. Don't rage quit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've never done that. All right.
I don't think anyone has.
No. Okay. Let's, I think that's it for that. Let's move on to the news.
it's time for the news.
In Blizzard news, so let's start off with the Razer World of Warcraft mount giveaway. So this was, if you're familiar with the Razer products, they've got keyboards and mice and mouse pads and headphone stands. Yeah, they're great. They're a great company. Not all their products are great. I'm just going to say that right now. Not all of them are great, but yeah, it's good. So they have a giveaway that they're doing, and this one's kind of interesting because it's not a contest. It's just a straight up giveaway. And it's going to be open till January 31st. And I don't know. You have to join their Discord server, and then
4 ways to enter.
Yeah. So there was join the Discord server, and what were the other ones?
So you can follow Razer on Twitter. Oh, I'm sorry. That's on TikTok. You have to follow Warcraft on Instagram, and I'm sorry, it's X now.
Okay. So yeah, if you follow those each and then join the Discord server for Razer, that's 4 entries, and you will be entered into a drawing to win the Coral Stalker Wave Array or the Razeshi B Battle Pet. And then you can also have a chance to win the Iron Sky Reaver mount. So the Coral Stalker Wave Array and the Razeshi B Battle Pet, those are both new. I don't think that those are available in game right now. And I know the Iron Sky Reaver is an old store mount, so I guess that one's fine. But yeah, it's kind of interesting little promotion they've got there. And there's 100 of each of them for them to give away. So
I like the Ray. I've entered. I wouldn't mind getting that.
Okay. I mean, I'll make a phone call, see what I can do.
That would be great. I mean, everything that I have is Razer peripherals. So just saying.
Yeah, me too. Although I don't have a Razer headset anymore.
You know what? That's true. I don't either.
But yeah, so if you are interested in getting any of those items, you can join the giveaway. There's a link to a Wowhead article discussing it if you are unsure as to what your steps will be. So I'll put that in the show notes if you want to click on it. But otherwise, you could just type Razer World of Warcraft giveaway, and I'm sure you'll be able to find it on Google. So yeah, so check that out. There's another news item that I wanted to bring in here that I did not put into my show notes. So Blizzard has some items available on the store that were sold out previously. One of them is a Illidan Sherpa jacket, and one of them is a Arthas desk mat. So if you are interested in either of those items, you can check those out on the Blizzard Gear store. A Sherpa jacket, I'm like, I didn't even know what that was. I had to click on it to see.
I'm thinking that sounds pretty good about right now. It's pretty cold.
Well,
Sherpa jacket.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is very true. So yeah, if you are interested in either of those items, you can check those out. I will put that link in the show notes as well, but probably by the time you hear this, it'll already be sold out again because those things sell out very quickly. So when I checked, the small size was already sold out. So here you go. Everyone loves Illidan. All right, let's move on to Classic news. So there was a little news item on Classic which came up. First off, after the whole PvP drama of last week with Blizzard increasing the amount of honor that you were getting for PvP, everything kind of settled down and the Burning Crusade Classic realms were very calm. However, somebody found a level 70 BOE dagger on the auction house, and we're still in pre-patch, so there's no Outland, so there's no way to get level 70 gear. Turns out a very clever rogue determined that if you start pickpocketing level 61 plus elites, you have a chance to get a box, a locked box. And if you unlock that, there is a small chance that there could be a level 70 BOE epic item in that box. And so I guess there's 2 different ones that can be in those locked boxes. And so every rogue in TBC Classic has been trying to get those items, trying to make some coin going into the launch. So
yeah, leave it to WoW players to find find some sort of workaround.
Yeah. So I mean, it's fine. It's, whatever. I'm happy that rogues are able to have something useful, because
Yeah, they gotta have
otherwise why would
something.
you? Yeah, exactly. So, all right. It's just I saw that and I just had to laugh, because it's like, yep, that's WoW players for you. All right. Next up is the Raider.io Decor Gala housing competition. Ashlynne, since you are so big into housing, I'm going to let you describe this one for the listeners.
Okay, so I'm super excited about this. So between now and the end of the month, Raider.io has opened up a decor competition, and you can submit a 1 to 2 minute, 2 minute max video of your house. And it can only be one house. So don't put in your Horde and your Alliance house, just one house. Give a tour of it and then submit that. The people over at Raider.io, they're going to pick the top 20. And then between February 3rd and February 13th, they are going to open up that to the great WoW community for voting. And then we're all going to vote on who we think is the best house. After that, on February 21st, we're going to have a live championship with the top, I believe it's 6 people who are going to be in that, and figure out who the champion is. The first annual Decor Gala champion. And I definitely am going to be entering that. Maybe later on, I'll give you a sneak peek of the outside of my house. I still have some finishing touches inside, but I'm super excited.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. This is the type of thing that I love about the WoW community. And whether you love them or hate them, Raider.io, they do a lot for the community, and not just, hey, the race to world first. You've got things like this. You have the where they do the less popular specs for Mythic Plus. There's a lot of different contests and things that they have, community events. So you got to give them a lot of credit for that. The top 6 finalists will all win 3 months of Raider.io Premium, 1 Raider.io t-shirt of their choice from the Raider.io merch shop, and 60 days of World of Warcraft game time. And the champion will also receive a Midnight Epic Edition digital code, 1 Raider.io toque or beanie hat, 1 Raider.io hoodie, 1 Blizzard Store pet, and 1 Blizzard Store mount. I guess you get to choose. I don't know how that works. So I guess they're hoping that a lot of people get involved in this and it drives a lot of traffic to their site, because that's some pretty swanky giveaways. So
yeah, it already looked like there were quite a few entries. So I've got to get on that.
Very, very cool. I can't wait to see your entry video. So okay. Next up, we have the short story, The Void Between, which was just released. This is written by Alex Axe, which I read that name a few times because I was like, what is his name? It's written by Alex Axe, and it's illustrated by Surfside 3D on the YouTube video. And it's basically it's the backstory for Magister Umbric and Grand Magister Romath. So I started listening to it earlier today, but I ended up having to go shovel snow. So that I didn't get to finish it. But if you want to check that out, you can definitely do it. There's a PDF version available if you feel like reading it, or you can just, it's the voice actor for, and I forgot to write down his name. It's the voice actor for Grand Magister Romath who does the narration. So go check that out. I love that Blizzard is doing these little short stories. I don't know if you've read any of them, but they're really good. They give a little bit of flavor going into a new expansion. I really like it. So
I haven't read any recently, but I do really like the stories and the lore behind the game.
Yeah, it's good. That's to me, that's one of the things that Blizzard really excels at, is creating that world. And yes, not all of the lore works, and sometimes they have to do these big retcons. But
Shadowlands.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're not going to get into that. Actually, you know what? We will get into that. Let's talk about our favorite features from Shadowlands now. Okay, so yeah, if you are interested in that, check out the YouTube video, and it's good so far. One of the things I really like about it kind of has a vibe like Dalaran because they're both students in Dalaran at the same time, and so it gives kind of like a mage college party vibe, like they're doing a pub crawl and all this stuff. So I mean, it's like a really cool flavor for a city like Dalaran, which sadly is no longer there, but we can remember it.
There's versions. You can remember it fondly in different versions.
Just like Teldrassil, right?
We're not going there.
Okay, we're not going to talk about that. All right. A couple of updates that Blizzard gave us about some of the new features in the Midnight pre-patch. First off, the transmog costs were nerfed by 50%. Now, Blizzard also said they were going to give us one free transmog, which sounded a little weird. It's like the first transmog is free, but after that you have to pay for it. So I don't know. It felt kind of odd.
So I haven't been able to figure any of that out. The interface for the transmog is, in my opinion, so bad. I saved a new transmog. I had it. I think I tried to apply it maybe 6 times before I finally got it on. I think I have bought maybe 8 slots at this point, trying to figure out how to use the system. And I keep thinking I need to buy new. I don't even know. It is so confusing. I am not happy with it at all. About the only thing I'm happy with is that they didn't erase all of my old transmog, because I had a couple characters who pretty much had an outfit for everything. So I'm not loving the new system.
So I was transmogging my mage, and he has a set that is called Eternal Traveler because it's built partially on the Eternal Traveler transmog set, and I've got a couple other pieces thrown in. So I have that saved, and it was saved in my transmog before. So when I went to apply that now, the name is actually too long because you can only have 16 characters in the name of your transmog. So what was saved before is now too long to be saved as the name of the transmog, which I thought, why 16 characters?
Yes. I mean, I found that with what Ashlynne's wearing right now. It's called Badass Arbor Weave because it's the Arbor Weave set with several other components to it. And it's my favorite of the Arbor Weave sets that I've put together. I don't know what I named it. I have no idea. It's just a mess.
Mm-hmm. And I have to complain about the interface here for a second, because I'd like to be able to have part of the transmog be saved as the icon for the set in the little window. Instead, yes. I have to scroll through like all of this random stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was trying to find, I have a farming set for one of my characters, a nice little hat and a pitchfork and shovel. And all I wanted was a farming icon. Why can't I have the little shovel as my icon?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yep.
Yeah. So I agree.
Yeah, I think transmog has some ways to go. I'm hoping that some very enterprising add-on authors decide to help give us some. It's like what was the one, Better Wardrobe that was for transmog before. Yeah, I loved that one, and yeah, it's dead right now. So hopefully we'll get something here in the future, but I don't know. I guess we'll see. All right, and the final item here is the Blizzard confirmed via a dev tweet that the housing XP that you get from endeavors is capped at 1,000 per endeavor. That means you only get 1,000 XP for your house per every 40 days, which I'm mind blown on that one.
That is insane. I did so much towards our endeavor in my neighborhood this past week, and I capped fairly quickly. And now I'm like, well, what's my incentive to keep going and doing specific things that are going to help my neighborhood? Because I'll just go jump to someone else's neighborhood then. I mean, it's really not incentivizing people like me who will farm and will contribute to keep doing that. I don't know. I was really disappointed. I was hoping that it would be a weekly reset. I could see them doing that, even lowering it from 1,000 if they don't want to have it all the way at 1,000. But to do it for 40 days, I mean, I feel like I'm pretty much locked out now. There's very little I can do to level up my house. And like I said, I made that mistake early on with learning too much. So I don't know. I'm really upset about that.
So I think what I would want, because I understand having a cap. You don't want people to just max out their house in the first endeavor. Fine. But at least let us go one full housing level during each endeavor. So if I'm housing level 3, I should be able to get to the same percentage that I am in level 4 per each endeavor. At least that, because right now it's like 2,500 XP per level or something like that. So if they want to have a cap, fine, but at least give us this isn't even half of a level. It's less than half.
I'm going from 5 to 6, and that's 5,700. So, it's a very small fraction of what I'm dealing with trying to get up to level 6. And, we're going well beyond that at this point. And, maybe if I had done the beta, I would have been prepared for it. But I have shot myself in the foot, and I'm pretty much screwed until March. And, going back to talking about when this Decor Gala, well, I'm going to be up against people who really planned and knew what to do and could level their house up well beyond where I am and have these huge budgets and who can use all these different rooms. And I'm stuck. I will get to level 6, but I don't think there's enough decor for me to actually get to level 7 from there. So I'm limited by what's available.
Right. Yeah, I saw a tweet from somebody who was already at level 8. I thought, how?
It's all of the gear. If you get 10 points per, it really starts to add up. But I was getting, I was learning stuff that I would have gotten 10 points for after I had already maxed out prior to this week.
Right. Well, it's, just another smooth rollout from Blizzard. So,
right.
All right. We'll talk more about housing in a little bit, but right now let's talk about what's going on this week in World of Warcraft. The bonus event for this week is the Wrath of the Lich King Time Walking event. You're going to get the Sign of the Scourge buff. Wrath of the Lich King reputation gains from combat and quests increased by 50%. You can pick up 2 different quests. One is a Frozen Path Through Time, which you can get from Archivist for Thrun and Dornogal, to defeat 5 time-walking raid bosses or dungeons, and you will be rewarded with a Hero Track raid item. It's a Mana Forge Omega raid item. And then the other one is Disturbance Detected Ulduar from Vormu in Dalaran. This is the Crystal Song Forest Dalaran. To defeat Yogg-Saron, and you need to loot a Titan Prison Fragment, and you'll be rewarded with a Hero Track Wrath of the Lich King era raid item. So there you go. And if you have not finished your Master of the Turbulent Timeways, I think there's 2 more weeks after this. So hopefully you didn't miss out. I missed out. I gave up. I was like, it's screwed. I don't care. The ugly Shadowlands mounts can just stay there. But yeah, so I mean, they'll be available on the vendor in the future. So
right.
And the time walking dungeons this time around are Ajol Narub, Gundrak, Halls of Lightning, the Forge of Souls, the Nexus, and Utgard Keep. And the time walking raid is Ulduar, which I hate doing that one.
That is always the worst when we have to do time walk. I mean, trying to get through the first boss on that, it's roll the dice. Can you get through it?
Well, so the Ulduar and Firelands are bookends, right? The first boss in Ulduar is a pain. Everything else is easy. And then in Firelands, nobody knows the mechanics for the Ragnaros fight. And so you always have to go through 2 or 3 wipes before you can actually get it going. So the time walking raids are a little rough, but if you are trying to get your character some gear, you'll get some hero track items. The raid itself gives you champion track gear. So, and with Ulduar, I think it's 13 bosses. So that's a lot of opportunity to get some upgrades. If you have like a new level 80, or maybe you just didn't play this season or whatever it is, that's a really good opportunity for you to get some gear. But yeah, I think I'll pass on time walking this time around.
Yeah. 13 long, painful bosses.
Some of them are easy, like the big giant guy that jumps out of the bridge. Roar, he's like 2 seconds, he's dead. Anyway, the PvP brawl for this week is Classic Ashran. Classic Ashran is an open-ended tug-of-war battleground with special events around the zone, including quests and events. I hate this one with a passion. You did Ashlynne back in Warlords of Draenor, right?
Yeah. So actually, I don't mind Ashlynne. This is one of the ones that it doesn't bother me so much.
So Ashlynne now is fine, but Ashlynne back in Warlords of Draenor was like the original Alterac Valley, where it was long. You had to do all the side quests. You had to summon all these bosses, and there was a whole bunch of things you had to do. And it's this back and forth. It never ended. It took hours to get through. Which, okay, maybe it doesn't take that long now, but still, it was very frustrating for me. When I go into one of these PvP roles, I want to be able to get in there really quick, knock it out, and I'm done, and I'm bouncing. So for me, I don't really care for it as much. But you know what? Some people like it, and that's why it's still in the rotation. So there you go. Classic Ashlynne is your PvP brawl for the week. When you zone in, you'll get to quest something different to win a PvP brawl, and you'll be rewarded with Conquest, Honor, and Marks of Honor, which are great for transmog, by the way. So there you go.
Housing decor too.
I didn't realize that you could buy housing decor with that. Oh, yeah, that's right. There's Honor.
You can. There's actually quite a few that you can buy with. Mm-hmm.
I've been sleeping on that. Okay.
Yep.
Starting this week, we also have the Winds of Mysterious Fortune. Earn bonus experience and reputation on your adventures in Azeroth and find mysterious fortunes in the Dragon Isles and Kaz Algar. So this one, we got it last, was it patch 10.1? I think 10.1.7. I forget when it was. Anyway, basically what you're going to get is you're going to get a experience increase for level 10 through 79, a 20% increase. And then you have a chance to get a 10% increase from a bottle of mysterious wisdom, which you can loot from killing quests or killing mobs or doing quests while you are leveling. They also have a chance to drop different cosmetic potions and different things, but really the XP is the big thing. The other thing that's really exciting about this is the reputation increase, 200% increase for Dragonflight reputations and 100% increase for War Within reputations. So if you have not maxed out your reputations, which I still have not finished the Maniforge Vandals or whatever it is, so this will be a great opportunity for you to do that. It will run from January 27th through February 24th. At least we think so. We don't know. Maybe Blizzard is lying about the times again, like they did with Legion Remix.
What?
And finally, we have the Darkmoon Fair, which will be here on Sunday. The Darkmoon Fair is open for business. Meet Silas Darkmoon and his troupe, play games that test mind and nerve, and behold the exotic sights from the four corners of Azeroth and beyond. So this will start February 1st and run through February 7th. Make sure that if you want to line up your reputation and XP gains, you'll get the 10% from riding the merry-go-round or the roller coaster. You can fly through the rings. You can check out a concert. There's all sorts of things. You can get shot out of the cannon. I love the Darkmoon Fair. This is your last chance to increase your War Within trade skills. So if you have not maxed out your knowledge points on War Within trade skills, this is your final opportunity to do so through the Darkmoon Fair. So if you are looking at your talent trees aren't all the way filled out, or if you have not filled out all of your skill points in a profession, if you're sitting at 79 out of 100, definitely go do this. It's your last opportunity to do that, because the next time we get the Darkmoon Fair, it will all be midnight professions. So there you go.
Don't forget, you can also buy hats. So if you don't feel like going back to the Darkmoon Fair over and over again, I'm going to be grinding a whole bunch of reputation. So I'm definitely going to be getting hats and taking them with me.
Yeah, the hats are great. Don't buy the hats and then think you're going to keep them after the fair is gone. They only work when the fair is in town.
They do disappear. I've made that mistake.
Yeah, I have too. So yeah, that's the last chance for the bonus of the Darkmoon Fair. But I like the fact that it coincides with the Winds of Mysterious Fortune. So it'll really help if you're leveling up alts or if you're trying to get reputation. Now that all the reputations are warbound, it's really nice because you can knock those out really quickly. So, and there you go. That's what's going on this week in World of Warcraft. Do you have anything else to add in there?
I think that covers everything.
All right. Let's move on to the main topic of the week.
It's time for the main topic of the week.
All right. So Blizzard introduced player housing back in December with the early access, and we all got to jump in there and play around with it and and see what the system is. But a lot of components were missing. Things weren't all the way fleshed out. There were no endeavors. It was really difficult to kind of get a feel for it. It was definitely very early access. We now have the full launch of housing, and while housing will continue to be iterated upon by Blizzard, this is the official midnight version of player housing that we have now. So I asked Ashlynne to come on the show, and I've been trying to get her to come on for a while now. I originally had her back on in 2024. So it's been a while. It was episode 38. I had to look it up because I was like, when was that? But I'm so glad to have you back and have you here to talk about player housing.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here. Maybe we could start out. I'll give you a little tour of my place, the outside anyway. So here we are. I picked this lot. And I will not move. I love this lot. Just to show you where I am. Oh, of course. What was I talking about? The bugs.
The game has no bugs.
No bugs whatsoever.
There hasn't been bugs in this game since Encourage.
There we go. Okay, so I'm up here at lot 21, and I love how secluded it is. And you can see there are a few lots left in our neighborhood. A few people have come and gone. There's even this great one, number 5 out here on the coast. And overall, our neighborhood's actually doing really well. I went to look at a bunch of other neighborhoods to see where their progress was. And compared to a lot of neighborhoods, this neighborhood's doing pretty well. So here we are up at my place, and of course this is Ashlynne, and so I've of course got my night elf theme. And originally I had done all of the stonework paths with the individual cobblestones. It took me forever, and I went through almost all of my budget. So I made a very nature open outside with waterfalls, plenty of places to tuck away and sit and look out over the water that's down below. I really liked how private this was up here and how many little nooks that I could make. And I know that a lot of people have put a bunch of pavilions out, and I've seen a lot of that with the houses that I've seen. I liked this approach a lot better. A little path up into the hills. I do have one pavilion out here. And then just a nice night elf seating area in here, so that I can sit outside and just enjoy nature as my night elf likes.
Yeah, I was going to say, how very night elf of you.
Mm-hmm. And then I've got a friend that's over down the way, so of course I have to have my telescope to spy. And then you might notice that my house, if you see, you can now see the edges. Neat little trick. As long as you're mostly inside the square, you can get things pretty far out. So I have utilized this space quite to the best of my ability. And you can see I'm at 248 of 250. So I'm pretty close to reaching the max here. I've got 2 more points I could throw in somewhere. I've got my night elf house looking out onto my lake. I was told by somebody that I've got a dead body at the bottom of my lake. We won't talk about that.
You know, you never know.
We're not going to talk about who that might be. So I really love this up here. I'm really happy with the decor that I was able to put in, and just kind of the ambiance that I was able to create with this housing and this particular location. I feel like it's very serene. It's different than a lot of what I've seen, and maybe I haven't looked around enough, but I feel like it's just unique, and it really is good for my personality. So that's just a quick preview of my outside. Did you have any questions about it?
No, this looks great. I love the way that you've kind of created the paths going around the house. And like you said, the little vignettes all over to kind of tie everything together. I also like the fact that your house is pushed back on the lot, so you have kind of like a big front and side yard, and then there's really no backyard because you're secluded this way. So I do really like that.
Yeah, I did like that quite a bit about this lot. There were a lot of others that I felt like they were nice, but this one in particular, I felt like I could make it just look like a house that's out in the woods all by itself. And I mean, I cannot see any of my neighbors at all, which let's see, can I peek down there? Ooh, I can see a little night elf house. That's one of my neighbors down there. I don't know who that might be.
I wonder.
So yeah, I've been really enjoying it. I spent a lot of time doing this. And I will spend a lot more time. I will probably go through several more iterations on the outside. And I've got a lot going on inside. I'm at, like I said, level 5, and I'm just about to get my ambient lighting. I'm really, really excited about that ambient lighting because I feel like one of the things with this neighborhood, I am kind of in the Duskwood area instead of a night elf area, so it is a little bit more dark and it's gloomy, maybe not quite as lively, and I feel like the ambient lighting might be able to help that a little bit.
It's a little more haunted forest, not quite as much enchanted forest.
Exactly. I mean, I did my best to make it enchanted forest, but
Wait,
and I do have my
is that something that when you went through and you found all of the different lots and kind of looked through them, were you looking for something specific, or did you just find one you're like, oh, that's it?
I was looking for secluded. I was looking for, like you said, that enchanted forest. And since we don't have night elf neighborhoods, this was the closest I could come to it. The waterfall, the trees, the little animals, I just felt like it fit my night elves the best. So that's what I went with. And I like it quite a bit. I think that maybe if I were a worgen, maybe it would be a little bit better, but I tend to play night elves with a few human paladins thrown in there.
Right. Very cool. Very cool. Well, let's talk about player housing as a system that has been implemented into the game by Blizzard. So I wanted to start off with, rather than just jumping into this, because we've all been playing player housing, at least anybody who had early access has been playing this for almost 2 months now. But the neighborhoods, to me, is one of the biggest key features that Blizzard really has kind of slow rolled out for us. I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on the difference between, I don't know if you've checked out any of the private neighborhoods, the guild or the charter neighborhoods, but the kind of difference between the private and the public neighborhoods and how you feel about that differentiation between the two.
So, in the beginning, I thought, okay, I'm in a public neighborhood. I am no longer with the guild that I was raiding with. I just didn't feel like I was contributing to the guild. I still have friends there, but I wanted to kind of pull away from that. And I've been to their neighborhood and kind of checked out what's going on there. And I've been to a couple of other guild neighborhoods and looked around. My initial thought was, I'm going to be way behind because my public neighborhood is not going to be able to keep up. I showed you, I've got a map there that shows a lot of empty lots. So, I've got people coming and going in this neighborhood. Am I going to end up with half the neighborhood leaving? Are people going to be coming in? But what I found is that my neighborhood is actually a lot farther along than many, many other neighborhoods that I saw. My neighborhood is as far along as the other 2 neighborhoods that I saw that were advanced. Some of the guild neighborhoods, guilds who I know are very active with players who are very active, they're not doing as much. And my theory on that is that guilds tend to be very specialized. And you have guilds who are primarily doing Mythic Plus, or they're primarily doing raids. And so, people are going to raid log. They're going to come on, do their Mythic Plus groups. They're going to get theirs done for the week. And then they're going to go. And they've got other games that they're playing. They've got other things that they're doing. And so they're going to bounce. So, so just as an example, I can purchase 6 or 8 items right now from my vendor. Some of those guild neighborhoods that I went to, they can only buy 2. They're at 2 because they're so low on the participation in all of the endeavors. And since there is scaling to the number of people that are in your neighborhood, it isn't because my neighborhood has more people or, they have more people. It's just that this neighborhood is active. And I was very impressed to see that. I've actually bumped into a few people in my neighborhood. So I don't know. I'm optimistic. So I haven't made a judgment yet.
Okay, that's fair. One of the things for me is I want to make sure that the neighborhoods are alive and vibrant, because what's the point of having a neighborhood if it feels like there's nobody there? You might as well be in your garrison at that point.
Exactly.
So I am curious though to get more about the neighborhoods once we get into midnight, because I think a lot of people have kind of taken a break from WoW right now. Mm-hmm. They're playing other games. They're just doing whatever. So I do think that that's probably a component to it, especially in some of these guild neighborhoods. But I do worry about the sustainability of some of these different types of neighborhoods. I'm curious what you think about. So I have this idea that as we get more and more charter neighborhoods, people are going to leave the public neighborhoods and they're going to become more and more empty. And I don't really see that Blizzard has a solution for that. That's not something that they can consolidate neighborhoods together or anything like that. I don't know what your thoughts on that are.
Well, if you think about it, you have a charter neighborhood that's what? You have to have 10 people for a charter neighborhood. So at that point, I mean, you're not filling up your neighborhood. You have a very, very sparse neighborhood. And so you're going to be missing out on a lot of different things. I'm really hoping that they kind of open it up to more of a social place, kind of back where we were in classic Ironforge. Everybody knew everybody. You were in the middle of, by the bank, and you recognized people by their gear. You knew people's names even if you didn't talk to them. And so I'm hoping that it's going to be a little bit more social, and people are going to be a little bit more hesitant to leave because they feel invested. Like for me, I'm invested in my lot. I don't want to go anywhere else because I love my lot. Now, I'm hoping that, other people aren't like, well, I want that lot, so I'm just going to find a neighborhood until I find it. And, we're not going to have people going into those center lots, which are really nice too. It just wasn't the mood and the vibe that I wanted. I think that if we can get more of a community feel, I don't feel like them going into charter neighborhoods is necessarily going to be that big of an issue, because getting 10 people, is going to not be feasible for everyone. And then being limited to 10 people, because then how are you getting the other 30 or so people in there? I don't know. I think that this might work.
What do you think? What do you think Blizzard could do to improve the community feeling of the neighborhoods? Because I had the thought of like a community center, right? A place where everybody could go and hang out, like you said, like Ironforge. What are your thoughts on what we could, or what Blizzard could do to make it so that it feels more like a community?
So I go over to that silly bulletin board all the time and I look at who is online, and I'm like, oh, great, these people are online. And sometimes I'll even go over, I'll look at the whole map, which makes zero sense because the numbers do not, add up in any sort of, 6 is like next to 40. I don't know. And I'll actually go over to their house and see, well, are they there? Well, I can't knock on their door. I can't message them. I can't send them mail. I don't even know what server they're on to be able to look them up. So I feel like, giving a little bit more functionality to that bulletin board. Right now, all I can do is report people in my neighborhood. No, I want to talk to them. I don't want to report them. I want to talk to them.
Yeah, that would be rude. Just report everybody in the neighborhood.
Right. They're not talking to me. General chat right now is just Founders Point. So you're talking to everyone in all of Founders Point. Well,
Right.
I want to talk to Golden Wave Sanctuary. That's who I want to talk to. I don't want to talk to somebody who's over in another neighborhood.
Right.
I'd like to, we have these things that look like mailboxes outside of our property. Why not make them mailboxes? Why not give us guest books that we can either have inside our house if we keep it open, or on our property or at the front? Have it somewhere so that people can write things in it. And maybe even have a neighborhood calendar where people can put up events. And there are RP servers out there. I'm not a big RP server person, but come on, there's a theater there. There's bars, there's restaurants. Come on, why can't we have a calendar and come up with events and get people together, have a picnic at somebody's house? I think there's so much that could be done to make it into a community rather than just have it as, just a replacement for your garrison.
Right. No, I agree. I think they could do a lot more, and I'm hoping that they have stuff planned. But again, like I've said, Blizzard doesn't always communicate what their future plans are going to be, so we're left to speculate and hope. But I definitely have that feeling, because I was going through and looking at who did what in the Endeavors and trying to figure out like where are these people from, but there's no way to talk to them or even inspect them or anything unless you happen to see them in that area. Yeah, there's no way to communicate. So
well, and I ran into somebody who was Horde, so I couldn't even talk to them. Maybe I could invite them to a group, but just a random group in the middle of the neighborhood, I don't know. It just...
So, and that's one of the other things that Blizzard has traditionally struggled with, some of these barriers that they put in place back in 2004 that are still technically there. Like Horde and Alliance can't be in a group together. Mm-hmm. So you can invite them to a group if you're going to go do something, but you can't just go do World Quest with your Horde friend. And so likewise, you can invite somebody from another server into your group, but there has to be some way that you can interact with them first. And if you can't even tell what server they're from, though, then you're kind of out of luck. So yeah, I definitely think Blizzard needs to do more to improve on the neighborhoods, but it sounds like you've already put in a lot of work and gotten not a lot of progress because of some of the barriers that Blizzard has in place. So all right, so we've already talked a little bit about Endeavors, but I want to kind of get into detail here. So I looked at Endeavors on the beta very briefly, and I was like, okay, you can't really do anything about it because it's the beta. You're not really testing that functionality. So I'm curious what your thoughts are. So first of all, I feel like the interface for the Endeavors is terrible. I feel like Blizzard needs to do a better job of providing us the information. What are your thoughts on it? How do you feel like it works so far? Do you like it? Do you not like it?
There seems to be a theme here. Poor interface. I agree. Very poor interface. One of the things that I have done every time I've logged on is opened up my housing interface and clicked the little button that says show as experience bar, because every time I log off, that goes away. So, nice. A lot of the functionality just isn't there. And then you have these milestones that you have to reach in order to be able to purchase things. Reach milestone 1. Well, what exactly is milestone 1? Because I can purchase those things, and the little dot, we haven't reached that. And there's more milestones that they talk about than little dots that we have on our bar. So I'm not really sure what it is that we are working towards. I feel like just roughly by doing calculations based on what we've done, and we are definitely on track to finish and to do the entire endeavor for this time. But how much do we need to do each week? Who's contributing? Do we have like a top spot? I would love to see these things incorporated into the interface. Here's our star of the week. Here's, you did the most, and you get a bonus of some sort. I'm finding that the interface is not giving me information. It is not consistently working. So I feel like there's a lot that could be improved in it.
I don't even need a whole lot. Just give me a percentage. Show me each of those milestones. Say it's 25, 50, 75%. Fine. Show me what percentage my neighborhood is at to get to where I need to go. If you say, hey, we're at 12.5%, okay, I have to eyeball it and look. I'm like, that looks like about 14%. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's a guess. Right. And I don't like that. I want things to be just so. Mm-hmm. And I'm hoping that there's some add-ons out there that will clean that up. But again, Blizzard needing add-on developers to come to their rescue because they can't build a proper user interface. So anyway, I'm not gonna beat that dead horse too much. What do you think about the rewards for the endeavors? How do you feel so far about what we've gotten?
Well, my neighborhood has Mechagon.
Right.
So as a night elf, how do you think I feel?
Yeah. Okay. At least it's not work.
I've been basically I went through my entire friends list, and I visited every single neighborhood, Horde and Alliance. So several people have 2 different neighborhoods. I went to every single one. And then I took notes of whose I want to go back to continue to try and get more things. I think that the rewards are, at this point I'm getting just little accessories to put around, and I like to put little accessories around, so I think that that's nice. Some of the bigger things I haven't been real impressed with. The rewards are okay. I'm just more interested in leveling my house through the 10 points through each thing I buy.
Right. Yeah, and that to me, it's the wrong motivation. I shouldn't be trying to just get stuff so that I can collect it so I can get more points. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, I should be excited about the item. Oh yeah.
I fully know I'm going to be deleting stuff. I know that I will delete stuff because there is no way I'm using Horde decor in my Night Elf house. It's not happening. Sorry, Horde. I know that. Okay, maybe Blood Elf, but it's just not my thing. Maybe in a Horde house, but not here.
All right, you know what? Everybody has their own aesthetic, and that's one of the reasons why player housing has been so exciting for the community, is because it's giving us this opportunity to express ourselves personally in WoW. Even in the Garrison, we couldn't really do that. There was only a few customizations you could do, and they were very limited. So from that standpoint, I think player housing has been great, but I do think the endeavors are going to need a lot of work before they are really... I don't know. I feel like it's not a fully fleshed out system yet.
No.
So let's talk about this currency. So these community coupons, are you even paying attention to how many of the currency you have? Or are you just like, I don't know, I'm just doing stuff and getting currency?
Yeah, I'm just getting currency because I don't know. At this point, I have a lot. So I know that there's a cap, but...
Well, I think it's 500 that you can have on you, but if you spend it, then you can build that back up, which to me doesn't make any sense, because why not just have us pay with gold? I would rather just pay with gold, and it doesn't. Why do I have to earn? Is there a new currency for us to keep track of?
I don't mind the new currency. I have sunk so much gold in the past month. Okay. I'm definitely loving a little coupon that means absolutely nothing to me, and I can go get another by sweeping the floor.
It's like the Dark Moon Fair tickets.
Oh, I was thinking it was chore tickets. I get a little star on my
Right.
chore chart and I get tickets for it.
That's true.
Yeah, that's great. So I have no problem with and I think that you earn them fast enough. And a lot of the things that you do are super easy. So why not do it? You know, you're running down to do, to go into the middle of town. Okay, so get a couple cobblestones and, some cobwebs, clean it up, and you're done. You
Pet a dog, yeah.
10 more. Pet a dog, cuddle a cat.
So here's the thing. I think that some of the tasks and activities are going to need to be revalued, because like I did the delves. I think it's do 3 delves or something. It gave me 10 points, which to me, I felt like 3 delves, that's a lot of work if I'm trying to do endeavor progress. So I get it that here's an extra reward for just playing the game, but some people are gonna, because you can't just do housing activities. You'll not be able to get any more points because you start getting less and less and less the more times you repeat those activities. So I don't know. I feel like we need to have some sort of way of making it a little bit more incentive for players.
Oh, I completely agree with you. I mean, and I think it's 5 delves.
Okay.
I think the quest is 3. So, I mean, that's even more to your point. If it's 5 and you're getting 10 tickets, and then I can go and clean the sidewalk for 5. What? I mean, this really isn't equating here. So I agree. I think that maybe revaluing things a little bit and maybe encouraging people to do some of the content instead of just, I can go do a bunch of stuff in my neighborhood real quickly, as opposed to going and doing 3 to 5 delves. That's going to take a lot longer. And for the same currency, the same number of points for my neighborhood. What?
Yeah. Well, and I wish that each of the activities showed you what percentage it was going to give you on your total endeavor progress. 'Cause I want to see that. Like, how much is this actually giving me? Is it worth my time?
Absolutely. So. And I think that should be balanced between, the different pillars of the game. So you shouldn't automatically get the most if you're a raider, or, you should be able to do stuff that is equal if you are a casual player or a solo player, or whatever your game style is, whatever you have time for, however you enjoy to play, you can find something that contributes just as much as that raid.
Right. And I think that's the idea they're going for. I think it's just going to need to be kind of balanced out a little bit better. So, all right, let's talk about, so you brought up your house and you're trying to level your house up. So I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on the system that Blizzard has given us for leveling up our house, because I want to hear your thoughts on it first.
Well, like I said, I made some mistakes. So I think from that standpoint, I'm pretty irritated because, I'm stuck now. There's nothing I can do. And I'm behind the 8 ball on this, and I have to wait till March because there's only a finite number of new items that you can get. And there's only so many points I could get in 40 days to level up my house. So I'm going to get to 6 and I can't go any farther. So I'm not really loving that. I think that, sure, make it a little bit harder. So I'm not going to go pick up cobblestones and continue to level up, but doing current content, doing so much of the current content, stuff that is engaging in the game that they want to encourage you to do. Have that incentivized in leveling up your house, because I would go do it. I haven't raided in a long time, but I would do a raid if that meant I was leveling up.
What do you think about the idea of increasing the amount of XP that you get per item? So, like, say, for example, if you get a green item, it's 10, but if you get a blue item, it's 25. And if you get a purple item, it's 50.
I think that would be great. I mean, some of these things, I have leveled up trade skills. I have had to grind rep. I have, the things that I have done just to be able to craft things. The alchemy table takes 12 Black Lotus. Are you kidding me? I have 3.
Okay. Well,
I don't really like buying a whole bunch of things on the auction house. I have, because I've gotten so frustrated with, oh my gosh, this is taking me forever to farm. So yes, if you're getting a higher level piece of gear, let's say it is a crafted item, it does give you more. And that also gives it more value on the auction house for resale. So if you work to get all of those mats, and you make it, well then yeah, you deserve to get more gold. You deserve to get more points. So yeah, absolutely. Right. Make it a tiered system.
Are you making gold off of the auction house?
To some extent, yes. There are certain items that aren't selling as well as others, and that's that really low level items. I had to use something in alchemy in BFA to level it up. And I think everyone else did too. So that's not really selling. Little Borellus Firefly. If you want any, I've got a ton of them. I think I've got like 50. So we can. Well, I will put them all over my house. You can have them all over your house. Those aren't selling, but yeah, some of them I am selling things. I made the train set. I was able to sell one of those. That one sold for I think 40. So nice. That was pretty good. Very cool. And I did have to level up some to do that one.
Well, and I don't want you to give away all your secrets of what you're making gold off of, but it is viable to do. The difficult part is getting those old mats, right?
It's viable. Now, is it... I'm not sure that it's any better than other ways of making gold. Maybe even just farming mats and selling mats, because the amount of time that I'm putting into making these things and into getting this stuff, I don't know that it's actually worth it. But I'm making it for myself anyway, so sometimes I just throw an extra one on the auction house.
Yeah, I've never been a big crafting for gold type person. I'm too lazy for that. But all right. So speaking of decor, let's talk about some of these limits that Blizzard has imposed upon us. So right off the bat, this 5,000 storage limit. How far are you into that? How close are you to the 5,000?
I'm at 1166 right now.
Okay, so that's not too bad. So you still have a long ways to go to get to the 5,000. Okay.
Now I'm worried about if that is going to stay at 5,000. Right now, I'm not worried about it. But come, halfway through the next expansion, I might be.
So there has been some rumblings that Blizzard is planning to increase that number, but they have not said anything official that they are going to, at least not that I've seen. Maybe in a one-off interview, somebody said something, but the idea is more of maybe they have intent to do it, but they're not promising anything yet. So, the thing without trying to get too technical into it, it's just a flag in a database where do you have this item or not? And then what's the quantity? That's it. It doesn't take a lot of database power for you or for Blizzard to keep track of what you have in your inventory. Now, what you actually have in your house, that's a lot more processing to keep track of, and here's the position of it, and here's the scale, and here's how high it is and how low it is and whatever. Fine. But just to know what I have in my inventory, I should be able to have 1 million items in my storage. I don't know. I think that it's a silly limit that I don't know why it was placed in there.
Well, I think that I should be able to have 50 beams, and it shouldn't count as 50 items. So,
right. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, you should be able to collect 5,000 different decor items.
Right. And then I think that maybe they wouldn't have to expand it more, because I know that there's not 5,000 items.
Yeah, I didn't even look to see how many there were, but I do know that the more you have to track separately, the more difficult it is to manage that from a database standpoint. So if you've got one database or one table that's your items per warband, and then another table that's the number of items that you have per warband. Now you're adding additional fields in there that you've got to keep track of. So I know that part of the problem is that Blizzard's databases are archaic. That's why there was that 24-hour maintenance downtime for Burning Crusade, because they were basically doing a full database upgrade on those servers. So I know their database is old, and a lot of the things in it are that way because that's how they did it back in 2004. But I think that they could certainly just increase the limit. I don't see how that's going to cause too many issues. So
yeah, I agree.
Okay, what do you feel about the decor limits in the house? The inside, the outside, the number of rooms that you can have. How are you feeling about the layout of the house?
So I feel like outside is definitely not enough. I know that there was an issue with lighting outside and people just setting their entire lots and houses on fire. But I think that something...
We can blame Taliesin for that one.
Okay, well, there you go. I think that something should be done about the lighting outside. I would like to have more lighting. And I would like to have a little bit more of a budget. I think that they did a lot to help that with the bunches, like the gardens that you can do. And there's some really cute ones with little mushrooms, and I really enjoyed that.
Okay.
So it's better, but I still don't think it's enough. And they need to really work on the outside. Inside, I'm doing a lot better now that they have taken things like the beam down to 1. And I think that it's close. It's close on the inside. I think that a lot of people are making these very elaborate rooms. And what I start to wonder is, okay, that room's really elaborate. What does the rest of your house look like? And so I'm really interested in this Decor Gala to see, okay, do people actually have full houses? Or is it, oh yeah, I did a great room, then I had to tear it down and then do another build. I mean, I guess you could do that on a video too, but
people do.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have time for that. Oh, it's raining at my house. I haven't seen it rain before. And am I the only person who is like, okay, I got to take my character inside?
Probably not the only person, but I definitely log my character off in the most random spots. So
well, she had to get out of the rain.
Well, there you go. Yeah. What about the rooms, like the actual budget for the rooms?
So initially I had a really big problem with it. When I first started housing, it took me, I would say, maybe a good week to 2 weeks to really get into it. I tore down several houses, did several rooms. I could not wrap my brain around what I was doing because of the room budget. And where am I putting things? And then if I have, say, a kitchen in this location, where am I expanding to after this? If I've got my house set up in a certain way because my room budget is where it is right now, how am I expanding? So I've really kind of struggled with that. The room budget has been the hardest part for me. And then what the room budget does when you have to move things around and you say, okay, well, now I want to add on this other room because I have a bigger room budget, but that room that I have to move took me 3 hours to do. And I don't want to have to rebuild the whole thing. So now I've got to, it's tough. I'm not loving the implementation of the room budget.
Right. It's actually really interesting because I built my house. The first thing that I did was I put a long hallway on my first house. And then after I did that, it was like, okay, I don't want the hallway there anymore. And so I had to tear out my entire house to just replace that one hallway.
Right.
So, I'm hoping that Blizzard gives us a way to export our room designs, just like an export string or something, even if it's per room. It doesn't need to be the whole house. Let me save a room and then I can delete the other stuff and put that one room back. Something like that would be ideal. Or even if we can just share like share the house and say, here's my house. Something. I don't know. I feel like the technology is there to be able to do that. We just need we need the capacity from Blizzard. So
I agree. Yeah. I think that would make that limitation a lot better.
All right. So let's talk about overall. Give me your quick. What would you improve if you're in charge of housing? What are you going to do to improve for the players?
For the players, I would want it to be more of a social event. It is right now, to me, it feels a lot like my garrison. I'm just going there. I'm sitting there by myself. There's really not a lot of interaction. I can sit. That's about it. That's about all I can do. I can open doors and close doors and turn on fires. That's about all I can do with my house. I would like there to be more interaction. And I'd like farming to be a little easier.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. That's good. That's fair. Do you think that what if Blizzard were to introduce some, let's say, smaller versions of the existing neighborhoods? Like, so you take Founders Point and you break it up into, here's just this one section. Would you rather have a smaller, more tight-knit neighborhood versus the really big Founders Point, where what is there, like 40, 50 different housing tracks on there?
There's at least 40. I think that there's a little more than 40. I seem to remember 44 being one of the plots. I'm not sure though. I like it being large. I mean, if you think about it, going back to like Molten Core and Blackwing Lair, and I mean, we had 40 people in a raid. So we had 40 people plus in a guild. And I never felt like that felt like too many people. To me, I liked that because when people have real lives, which, you know, all of us do, and I mean, the WoW community is aging maybe a little bit.
No.
Maybe. And so as we get older, you know, it's more difficult with our professions and, you know, kids and life for us to have that same schedule that maybe we did way back when we started, whether it was in Classic or, you know, Pandaria, whenever we started. So I like having all those people together because it allows for us to have lives. It allows for us to still have people around.
Right. Okay, that's good. That's good. What do you think about the way Blizzard has rolled this out? Because I'm really concerned about that they're focusing too much on the long-term sustainability versus the short-term kind of thrill and excitement of getting player housing going.
Yeah, I think I'm not really sure that they're focusing on anything, honestly. Long-term sustainability, I love it right now, but what is my real motivation to stay with it?
Right.
I mean, I'm not really seeing a whole bunch of motivation to stay with it long term for the longevity if we don't have the social aspect and all of that. And then the short term excitement of it, I think that a lot of what they have implemented has been so piecemeal that we're not really sure, what are you implementing here? I do enjoy it, but I think that they're kind of missing the mark on the overall implementation, and I want to know if they have a direction and where we're going.
What's the point of player housing other than I'm playing The Sims and I'm just putting my house together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't mind that. I'm really enjoying it, but what are we doing long term?
Right, because to me, a lot of people are going to go check it out and they'll put a room together with a chair and a sofa and a fireplace and call it good, because they're going to go run Mythic Plus, they're going to do PvP. I do think that Blizzard, they don't need to give housing a purpose. Like, that was one of the downfalls of the Garrison. There was too much to do in the Garrison, but they could give it a little bit more of a purpose in terms of, hey, here's where you go to be social. I think that's what player housing needs as the goal, the long-term goal. I don't think the Endeavors are it. I think that there needs to be more. I think the Endeavors are a good start, but we definitely need to have more reasons to get people to want to build a house, not just, hey, oh, the people who are already here building houses are all going to get together and do stuff. What about that one guy who is like, player housing? Give people a reason to want to go there, not just, I want to build something, but I'm going to go hang out with people.
Right.
There's a rumor, or at least I heard in an interview, that there's guild halls might be coming soon, which would be really cool. But again, if you have a small guild, like a lot of people do, it's really tough, because now you're faced with that question: do we recruit? How do we take advantage of some of these features? So I think there's a lot of questions that are going to need to be answered here in the future.
I agree with that. Yeah.
All right. You have any last thoughts on player housing before we wrap this up?
No, I think that's about it. I think we covered it all.
But you're happy with it overall?
I am. I really am happy with it. And I mean, I log out in my house. I go there and go visit people at their houses, or I go visit their houses. I go around my neighborhood. And I see who hasn't shut their houses down, and I just go in random people's houses and just look around. Mine's been open. I'm probably going to close it down until after I do my submission. But my property's open.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think it's really interesting from a social standpoint. You have to choose to open your house. It's not like you have to choose to close your house. You have to make a conscious decision to say, I want you to come visit my house. So I think that's a good design aspect from Blizzard, that it's a choice. And so if somebody's house is open, please go on in.
So on one of the interfaces, it says search for open house. Well, I thought that meant that you could host an open house. Okay. Not. Mm-hmm. So I spent quite a bit of time trying to figure out how I could host an open house. Apparently you can't. You're just looking for a new lot. I think we could have worded that maybe a little bit better.
Right. There needs to be like a dinner party button that you could just press, right?
Yes.
Oh, Ashlynne, this has been so much fun. I'm so glad to finally get you back on the show. We need to make sure that it's not 2 years before the next time I have you back on. So we'll definitely try and get you back on here in the future and talk about player housing or whatever you feel like talking about. It's always a joy to have you on here.
All right. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our show for this week. Thank you so much for listening and for watching. It is always a pleasure and a privilege for me to get on this microphone and speak to you. If you have any questions or comments about the podcast, or if you have a particular topic that you would like to hear discussed, you can email us at azerothunitedpod@gmail.com. And if you want to get a hold of me directly, you can reach out to me on Twitter. I am at Denethar. Or you can send me an email, denethar1@gmail.com, but probably not going to check that. So Twitter is probably the best way. X, Twitter, whatever. Blue Sky as well, but I don't check that one every day. So, but I will check it and I will eventually get back to you. If you want to have any conversations about World of Warcraft or about the podcast, you can get onto our Discord server, AzerothUnitedPod.com. We'll get you the Discord server. Ashlynne is on there as well. So if you want to talk to her, she's on the Discord server. You can drop her line there and tell her what you think about her house, or tell her her opinions on housing are terrible, or whatever it is you want to say. Is there any other way that people can get a hold of you if they want to, Ashlynne?
Primarily, they would probably just have to go through the Discord or to tell you, because I don't check my email.
Discord it is. If you're enjoying the show and you would like to help us out, you could consider leaving us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Those really help out the distribution. So if you're inclined to do so, we'd be very grateful. And as I mentioned earlier in the show, if you leave a comment or a review, I will read it on the air. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can help us out by giving us a like and a subscribe and a comment and all that YouTube stuff. So the other way that you could help us out is by becoming a Patreon member. Patreon is where people can go to, they can give their IRL money to help out with the production costs for the show, the hosting, the equipment, the services that are used for Azeroth United, any of those items. You can join Patreon for free. You can just get on there and become a member. There are also 2 paid tiers. There's a standard tier, and then there's the friend of the show tier. I do want to thank our friend of the show patrons right now. That's Judge Omni, Stuglife, Thelial, Greybeard, Raven, and Macus. Thank you all so much. You definitely help make Azeroth United possible. And thank you to all of our patrons. It's so nice to know that people care and want to support the show. So that means a lot to me. And that's it. So thank you again for listening. And remember to be good to each other out there. That's a real person on the other side of that keyboard. And maybe they like player housing, or maybe they just want to have an orc mud hut. And that's okay. You can just be nice and smile and be kind to one another. All right. Take care. I love you all. And I'll see you in Azeroth.